Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Eating for Meaning and I'm Millie Lytle and I'm going to have some breakfast today. Today I'm going to eat a savory breakfast. So what I've done is I've boiled two pasture-raised eggs, and then I've cut up a ripe avocado. It's a full avocado, and then there's some pickled vegetables, some homemade pickled vegetables there. There's cabbage and celery and some celery leaves and some cauliflower. And the great thing about a savory breakfast is it's unexpected. You don't have to eat the traditional sweet breakfast. If you're wondering what to eat in the morning, of course, everybody knows you can eat eggs. But with eggs, you can also eat vegetables. It doesn't have to be bacon and toast. You can eat something that's healthier. So when you're composing a meal, when you're thinking about what to put together for a meal, especially something like breakfast, you want there to be protein and you want there to be something fresh. And I hope all you solo diners are eating as well and taking advantage of the opportunity for us to get together, even virtually, and eat together so you don't have to eat alone. But when you eat a meal, if you think of a plate, what a plate looks like, the plate diagram, it's half vegetables. And vegetables can be salad, they can be cooked greens like asparagus or broccoli, cabbage, green beans, peas. They can be root vegetables like carrots, beets, artichokes, squash. Now, if you're eating a low carb diet, then you could also put the root vegetables and the squashes into the starch column. So a plate should be half vegetables, it should be 1/4 protein, and it should be 1/4 carbs. That's if you're doing a balanced meal. Half vegetables, 1/4 of the plate protein, 1/4 of the plate carbs. If you have any sides, it could be an extra side salad, it could be an extra clear soup. And you can eat soup for breakfast. It doesn't only have to be at lunch and dinner. But soup should be a clear base, not a cream. So it should be like a tomato broth or a beef broth or a chicken broth or a clear vegetable broth. You can make it creamy by blending it, but you don't want it to have dairy in it or anything like that, because that just takes away the health benefits of it. If you're not trying to lose weight, or if you want to, make sure that you're getting enough good fats, you can also, and you're not sensitive to dairy, you can put a dollop of sour cream, like on your borscht or on your chicken soup. But you can also put lemon on your chicken soup. It's absolutely delicious. Or a lentil soup. So soups can be on the side, salads can be on the side. You don't really want to have bread on the side. Bread either has to be your starch on your plate, or don't have bread, especially if you're looking to lower your sugar level, lower your carb level, or lose weight. So your starch can be the bread, or it could be a root vegetable like squash or pumpkin, any kind of squash, or it could be potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, celery root, or celeriac, yucca, whatever your nationality of starchy vegetable. Or it could be rice, pasta. Now you can get so many wheat-free pastas now. You can get rice pasta, bean pasta, chickpea pasta. You can get carb-free pasta called Better Than Rice or Miracle Noodles, which are made out of a root vegetable. They don't have any carb value at all. I have an article on my website, milliesays.com, that talks about noodle alternatives. And so you can go to milliesays.com and look up noodle alternatives. And then your protein. And your protein can be meat, or it can be a protein substitute for meat, like vegetarian, like sprouted tofu, organic always if you're eating soy, tempeh, chicken, fish, eggs. It could also be lentils, beans. It could be a yogurt or a Greek yogurt if you're having dairy, or a goat yogurt, sheep yogurt. This is the plate just for general health. It's not a specific diet. It's not a specific diet. It's just for general health. Sorry, my calendar notification came up. I had to turn it down. Proteins could also be mushrooms. If you're not sensitive to gluten, so many people are, but if you're not, then you could have seitan, which is wheat meat. But generally, I don't recommend a whole lot of processed meat substitutes. I mean, tofu's okay, tempeh's great, but if it's burgers and soy dogs and all these things, I don't recommend those. Every once in a while is okay, but not as a regular vegetarian staple. And I don't really recommend cheese as a good source of protein for most people, although cheese does have, if it's raw cheese especially, it does have probiotics, it does have vitamin K2. But just regular conventional cheese, you could put a little Parmesan, but a great vegetarian substitute for Parmesan is nutritional yeast. You can sprinkle it on popcorn, you can sprinkle it on pasta. I don't recommend a whole lot of white pasta because white pasta is a starch. And so starches, depending on how simple they are, they break down in our body like sugar. So they raise our blood sugar levels. And if our blood sugar levels are too high, then the excess sugar gets stored as fat. And it generally gets stored as fat around our belly. So I just dropped some avocado. If you're having a hard time with weight gain, you really do want to eliminate as much sugar as possible, but you also want to eliminate as much white carbohydrate as possible. And you want to have good fats at every meal, at least 1 ounce. So that could be olive oil if it's raw, coconut oil, almond oil, avocado oil, coconut itself, avocado itself, seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, almond butter, sun butter, sprouted pumpkin seed butter, cashew butter, organic natural peanut butter. Look at all your packages. Make sure that sugar is not near the top of your list, especially in things that should be healthy and give you protein as well as good fat, like nuts and seeds. Protein also does come from nuts and seeds, so that could be also your protein on your plate. But if it's ground up into a butter, it generally would count as a fat, although it would have some protein as well as some carbohydrate value with it, because plants contain all of the macronutrients, whereas meat and animal products tend not to contain much carbohydrate value. Well, they do. Your body can get carbohydrates from protein as it breaks it down, but meat definitely doesn't have any fiber. And so when you're balancing a plate, and you're thinking about your plate diagram, half vegetables, green vegetables, cooked vegetables, raw vegetables, salad, whatever you want, root vegetables, leaves, sprouts, shoots, any kind of vegetable. 1/4 carbohydrate, that's a piece of bread, or some rice, or some pasta, or some potatoes. If you're going low carb, then that can also be your root vegetables like squash, pumpkin, sweet potato. And then really you'd have 3/4 of your plate as vegetables, because you'd have half of your plate more green vegetables, and you'd have 1/4 of your plate more starchy vegetables, or a mixture. And then 1/4 of your plate protein. So that could be protein from animals, fish, beef, chicken. Preferably if you're eating animals, then it's well raised. So it's pastured, or it's grass fed, or it's hormone free. We as humans are at the top of the food chain. So we put into our bodies everything that the animal's been exposed to, everything that the plant's been exposed to. So if the animal has been exposed to a lot of pesticides, herbicides, genetically modified grains like corn, soy, bovine growth hormone, or the chickens, you can't give growth hormone to a chicken, but you can give a hormone precursor. And so Purdue Farms, for instance, to pick on them, they always advertise hormone free, that their chickens are always hormone free. Well, all that's doing is falling into what the law says about raising chickens in the United States. You can't give chickens growth hormones. So they give them a drug which is a precursor to hormone, which has the chicken make the hormone, and then they can still get away with saying that they're not giving their chickens hormones, when really, in fact, that they are. I mean, you can tell from Purdue chickens, they're so big and plump and round. That's really not how a chicken looks. The chicken is a little scrawnier, smaller. You know, the breasts, the thighs are not quite as big. And so you might like the appeal that it looks like a bigger chicken. However, it's because of hormones and likely antibiotics and other genetically modified feed like grains. So when chickens are grain fed, or eggs are say grain fed on them, it's not necessarily what you want. You want the chickens need to be out and pasture, picking at bugs and leaves, and maybe supplemented with flax seeds or grain, some kind of organic grain, but not just fed grains all the time. Then the chicken ends up with that yellowish hue, and that's from the corn. Chicken should be pink, pinky white, kind of bluish. So then the protein can come from the animal source, but then it can also come from the vegetarian world. When you combine grains and beans, for instance, then you're getting a full protein. You are getting a complete protein. Also, you don't have to worry about complete proteins at every meal. As long as you're getting all of the ingredients, your body will make proteins out of the amino acids that are in the food that you're eating. So if you're eating nuts and seeds as your protein at a meal, you don't have to eat it with a lentil in order to create a good protein, a complete protein, as long as you're eating the lentils, or as long as you're eating the beans and grains later on. So Proteins can be mushrooms. Protein can be an organic, only soy substitute, such as tofu or tempeh. If you're okay with gluten, which many people are not, especially if you're having pain, headaches, bloating, inability to lose weight, indigestion, or if you've had a history of indigestion, I do recommend you check eliminating gluten from the diet. But if you are okay with gluten, then you can eat seitan, which is wheat meat, and sprouts are a good source of protein, and anything fermented has protein. So yogurt, kefir, kombucha, pickled vegetables, not pickled vegetables in the vinegar aisle, like which are in the condiment aisle, but pickled vegetables that are in the fridge. They're lacto-fermented, so just using salt and enzymes. It is really important as to how our food's prepared as to what the health benefits will be. Not all pickles are the same. Not all soy is the same. Not all beef is the same. Not all coffee is the same. Not all milk is the same. And so we really want to focus on quality of the food when we're making our choices as much as possible. I know that choosing organic can be expensive all the time, but you might want to do some education, go to the farmer's market and see what a better quality food might be, talk to some of the farmers, or look up the Dirty Dozen list and the Clean 15 list from the Environmental Working Group. That's at the Environmental Working Group is ewg.org, and they every year publish a list of fruits and vegetables which have been most exposed to pesticides. That's the Dirty Dozen, and then pesticides, fruits and vegetables that have been least exposed to pesticides, which are the Clean 15. And so what it means is that the Dirty Dozen, which might have up to 15 pesticide residues found on them, those are the foods that you really want to choose organic. Whereas the Clean 15, not so much. And then I would also say always the genetically modified crops, you want to go organic. So that's always organic corn, soy, canola, if you eat that at all. Cottonseed oil, they're really starting to pack a lot of fish and everything in genetically modified cotton oil. So I'd say generally avoid cotton oil unless you can get it organic. And sugar is from sugar beet, which is a genetically modified crop. Now there's more genetically modified crops coming up. It's papaya and zucchinis, especially from Hawaii. And so you really want to choose organic as much as possible. The reason that genetically modified foods are so dangerous is because they have so much pesticide in them. And the pesticides really are estrogenic and promote even growth of tumors or growth of our body fat, our fat cells, as well as the pesticides themselves, which are carcinogenic, hard for our body to break down. And, if it's killing a bug, then it is likely killing our cells as well, even just on a smaller level. But we have no idea how many pesticides we're exposed to. And genetically modified crops are pesticide resistant, which means that they can actually spray more pesticides on those crops without the crop dying, but we'll still be eating them. Okay, I've got to get my door. So we really do want to avoid pesticides as much as possible because I do believe that pesticides are contributing to our obesity problem and the inability for people to lose weight. And there's evidence to show this as well, that pesticides destroy our gut lining and make our gut permeable or leaky, as they say, which creates more food sensitivities and more chronic problems, even autoimmune disease in our bodies. And so I hope this is all not too complicated or too circular, but this is the way that I present. And if you keep listening to my videos and keep watching, then you'll really start to get familiar with a lot of these concepts that I'm saying. And if you want to do extra reading online or pay attention to other health experts, then I'm sure that you'll hear similar things. So, but I wanted to make this relatable, that we can just sit here and have a conversation and you can really start to learn about how to eat and what to eat. And so the concepts of the plate, the quarter protein, quarter carbs, and half vegetable is a really good place to start if you're wondering how to compose a meal. And that rule applies at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can have snacks as fruits in between and make sure you're getting a lot of water, of course. And recently I have gone off caffeine. I don't drink coffee anymore, just on rare occasions, or Even I've really cut down my alcohol consumption. So I will talk about that on another video. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Millie Lytle. I'm a naturopathic doctor and a nutrition specialist, and this is my channel, Eating for Meaning, which is helping to connect virtually to people who are eating alone, who want to raise their vibration, raise the vibration of their food, really know what to eat in order to participate in our awakening movement. If you're a twin flame and you really want to get healthier and clearer yourself, then these videos are for you. I am a twin flame, and so I'm part of that community as well. So I thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Be blessed.